Hi, I'm Sherry. Welcome back to my channel. I had some really big plans for last week's and this week's video, but life happens and as plans sometimes do, they fell through. But I thought I'd take this opportunity to talk to you a little about how I became a gardener. So it's always been a dream in my heart to have a beautiful garden. But growing up in the city, I grew up in Mexico City. We don't really have a gardening culture, so there was not much around me that I could learn from. But nonetheless, I tried. And needless to say, my first attempts at growing beautiful plants failed. And my plants died. And it's very, very, very discouraging. But I am a persistent little bean, so so I started growing succulents. And succulents were basically my introduction to how you're supposed to take care of a growing plant. They are very forgiving and they basically don't need anything from you other than the occasional water. So, with this new knowledge on succulents, I started buying seed packets at the grocery store and at the supermarket and at the Home Depot and wherever I could get my hands on some seeds, I would buy them. So I started hoarding this little drawer in my room with seeds. It was full of seeds, but I didn't have the budget or the resources to make some beautiful raised garden beds. Um, so I just kept them in the drawer. I started hoarding seeds in my drawer, and this went on for about maybe 2 years that I had my little drawer full of seeds. I used to joke around that it was my apocalypse plan because I didn't really plant anything. I just kept them in the drawer and I hoped for the best. I had no idea that germination rates would drop and well, anyway, back in October 2019, I noticed a curcubite growing in some little planters on the ground that we have in the garage, and they're actually full of this. So the place where it was growing, it was already full of plants, but it managed to get to the top of the wall and it just intrigued me. I was like, what is that? Is that a pumpkin? Is that a squash? Is that a cucumber? I don't know. So I kept closely watching it, and once it bloomed, I realized that it was some sort of a pumpkin or squash. First, I thought it was a pumpkin. It turned out to be a fig leaf gourd or Malabar gourd, and it just grew so vigorously without anybody's help. And it was so inspiring to me to see a plant thrive in such conditions without anybody helping it. So, back in November, about a month after I discovered our fig leaf gourd in the garage, I started germinating my first seeds. And I clearly remember these were tomatoes. Obviously, there were some cherry tomato seeds that I had, and I bought 2 packets of the same variety, which was just labeled as a red cherry tomato. So since I had an extra envelope, I thought I might as well try to grow these. And that's where my first video actually started. I started documenting my first little tomatoes, and my first video that I ever made is called, I think, The First Tomato I've Ever Grown. It was delicious. It was just tiny red cherry. Like, it was amazing. It was amazing for me. to have grown something from seed to fruit, and I was just hooked. I was just enamored. So, flash forward to October 2019, and I'm growing my second garden, and I have, um, I am blessed to say that I am growing this garden the way I always dreamed of growing my first garden. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. Do not let best deter you from good, which is what I did for my last garden. I used everything that I had and that I could to grow a garden, and it was such a rewarding experience. And although there's a lot that I would do different now, I learned a lot from my first garden, and I am so excited to be sharing this with you. Every step of the way, it's been amazing. Even just watching everything grow, or looking at old videos and realize that there used to be nothing in that space, and now it's, I can't even talk. Now it's just overwhelmingly rewarding and enriching, and I would like to invite you to plant something. If germinating is a little complicated for you, buy a little plant at a nursery, or find a friend that you can swap with. It's just, it's the most amazing project or experience or thing that I have put my time and my effort and my energy and my money into. So, it was lovely having you here. Thanks for hanging out. I'm really happy that I got to share this little story with you. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you liked it, consider giving it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content and watch this little garden grow, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye. Hi. Hi, I'm Sherry. Oh my god, these glasses. Flashback. But it turned out to be a fig leaf.